go into detail. And I think, I've gone through this sort of ad nauseum with my written congressional testimony, where you can see play by play, 3 a.m.
Even when Maxine Waters like chewed you up and I'm sure you've seen it, but
yeah.
To put it again, she made you look like you were just afraid to answer a question. Oh, that would be.
I think the yes or no questions are kind of tough in this forum. Like the answer, as I mentioned, is a little bit nuanced.
I appreciate
the opportunity to address that.
But it sounded like you were lawyering up, and for whatever reason, like you had. Like, to me, you just said, yes, we have a liquidity issue, which I'm not sure you've actually said before. But
I said no.
We didn't have it on Tuesday, but we may have it on Wednesday.
I said actually we didn't, and we prevented it. We could have had one in the future, potentially, if we didn't act.
Okay, fair. That's a fair point. But then the way you acted, in which I think this is the biggest problem, and I've heard you say other firms, Robinhood, clearly, they're marketing everything about them. We're democratizing trading, we're for the retail trader, all that. That's the branding of Robinhood, and it clearly worked. And you actually DM'd me. You're like, I'm surprised you don't have Robinhood. I happen to already be on E-Trade, but before I didn't like you guys. I was like, yeah, Robinhood, people are like viewing me as a Robinhood guy. So, knowing that, when you force people to sell, you only allow them to sell, but they can't buy. You cratered the stock. Like, that was a decision that cratered the stock. And I saw your quote. People get pissed off if they are holding stock and they can't sell it, which I guess is true. But I guarantee if you polled your customer base and said, listen, we're going to just freeze it. Like when the market is tumultuous, they freeze stocks. You can't buy or sell. It's just frozen at that value. And you have your client base all buying it. They would have rather said, freeze it. We want to be able to just figure out what your issues are, liquidity, whatever they may be, figure it out, and then turn it back on and let me buy and sell. But you, and when I say you, Robinhood, manipulated that stock price. You cratered it. And a lot of these people out there, everyday traders who have jobs and normal people, if you weren't watching the stock market and you blinked for 20 minutes, yeah, you could sell it, but you lost like 70, 80% of the value. So how do you rationalize not freezing it? I think that's the number one thing I get. Why didn't you just freeze it instead of do one? And basically, you cratered the market.
Well, first of all, let me say that we're speculating now, right? Saying like what would have happened if Robinhood did something different. It's kind of in the realm of speculation. I understand, by the way, I get that people are frustrated.
There's no speculation that when you only allow somebody to sell a stock and not buy it, you crater. You don't. That's not speculation.
Well, let me explain the reason why that's kind of standard procedure. Number one,
have you done that before? Standard procedure?
Well, PCOing, marking a stock position closing only is a standard procedure, and it's what the other brokers did in this case as well. So all brokers that actually went to, it's kind of
not everybody
did a DEFCON situation, right? There's escalating things you do, starting with the margin requirements, then you do
but not everybody did that. Like I could still buy on mine.
Yeah, not everyone did it, but the ones that did, the ones that restricted buying didn't also restrict selling. And it actually comes from the capital requirements. The deposit requirements are driven, the VAR formula was in this case driven by the one-sided long position. So it actually wouldn't help the deposit requirements to allow to restrict selling in this case. So, I mean, if we're managing risk, it doesn't help you to restrict selling as well. Not to mention the fact that
if you froze both, you're saying that wouldn't have got you out of, couldn't you have raised money and froze both?
I mean, I think we're speculating a little bit here, but there are two things. One is this is a standard procedure.